Alrighty guys, we're about to put every single monogreen commander ever made into a single tier list. Now before I get started, I should explain the criteria here. This is not a tier list according to power level. So S tier doesn't mean the most powerful commander, and F tier doesn't mean the worst. These tiers are ranked according to how much I want to build the deck, or how much I would recommend other people build the decks. So power level definitely matters. You know, if a commander is just absolutely terrible, then you don't want to build the deck. But, you know, it also takes into account how much fun it is, how unique it is, whether or not it's just a worse version of another commander, etc. Now keep in mind, I don't have a script this time. I am looking at these cards for the first time. I mean, I had to download all of them, but I didn't read all of them, so I don't even know what some of these commanders do. So these are all just gonna be basically my first impressions. So I might get some of them wrong, and if I do, if I say that your favorite commander ever is F tier, guess what? You can leave me a comment down below telling me how wrong I am, and also subscribe just to rub it in my face. So without further ado, let's get started. So first off, we have Ave Progenitor Ooze. This guy is going... oh shoot. This is gonna be tough. Alright, so first off, we have Ave Progenitor Ooze. This guy's probably going A tier, because he's basically the only mono green Storm commander, and that's pretty cool. Storm isn't something that mono green does that much, so let's stick him right there. Next up, we have a Nara Wolvid Familiar. This one is a partner, and partners are ranked a little bit differently. If it's a mono green partner that can be paired with another mono green partner, then I'm going to rank it assuming that you pair it up with another one. But if it's a green partner that can't be paired up with another mono green partner, then I'm going to assume that you're playing it by itself. So this one is kind of cool. It gives both of your commanders indestructible, which is alright. It's a 4-mana 4/4, but that's kind of boring. I guess you only play this one if you really care about the other partner, but partners are kind of cool. I'll stick it at like a B. That seems fair. Alright, now we have Enthusa Setessan Hero. I have never seen this card before in my life. So when you target her, your lands turn into... that's bad. Okay, you're a C. Alright, Orochi the Sky Asunder. This guy deals damage to creatures with flying, and that's all he does. We might have our first F on our hands, folks. This is really bad. Does this even deserve a C? There's like nothing cool you can do with this. I mean, there are ways to make your opponent's creatures fly, but that's stupid. Yeah, this is going F. This is actually going F. Okay. Alright, now we have Erasta of the Endless Web. This one makes tokens when your opponent plays instants or sorceries. That's alright, but it's basically just tokens. Like, you're not going to force your opponent to play instants or sorceries, especially not in mono green. So this basically just makes tokens, and that's pretty boring. Does it get points for being Spider Tribal? No, spiders suck. It's okay, it's going C. Also, if you're playing spiders, just play like a green-black commander. Why are you going to play this one? Ashaya Soul of the Wild. This one is straight up S tier. I'm putting this one in S tier. And I know that might seem a little too nice, but this card is hilarious and it does really unique things. Honestly, the thing that convinced me that this card should be S tier was, I think it was on Commander Clash, I saw someone play the only fortification in Magic, and I think it like makes it so when you tap the land it's fortified to, a creature gets +1/+1 or something, and they put it on an Arbor Elf, and then they tapped the Arbor Elf to untap itself and make it infinitely big, which is the funniest combo I've ever seen. And this card's also really good, so this is going S tier. Alright, Autumn Willow, a 6-mana 4/4 Shroud that you can pay 1 to change it into Hexproof instead of Shroud. That is very bad. Oh, that's bad. Is that F bad though? That's like maybe a C, but no, that's F bad. That's so bad. That's worse than a 6-mana 4/4 Hexproof. Okay, yeah, that's super bad. Okay. Ayula Queen Among Bears. I know people are going to be mad if I don't put this in S tier because bears are a meme, and I love bears and bears are hilarious, but I don't think it's quite S tier. It's funny, I like it, I do like janky tribes, but I don't think it's cool enough to make your deck consistently fun for a long time. Like, how long can you play a deck that's full of 2-mana 2/2s that do nothing before you get bored of playing 2-mana 2/2s that do nothing? It is still cool. I do still like it, but it's only going A. We're not going S. Ayumi, the Last Visitor. 5-mana 7/3 with Legendary Landwalk. What the crap is this card? I have never seen this before, but I actually really like it. It kills people in 3 hits. That's hilarious. Green has a lot of hexproof. Oh, this card's so bad, but I like it. Okay, I want to put it A, but since it's really bad, we're putting it B. But I really like this card. I might actually build a deck around this card. That's so funny. Azusa, Lost But Seeking. I think that's an easy A. It's a cool commander, but it's not that interesting. It's really good at what it does. And commanders that are really good at what they do probably deserve an A spot, but it's not the most... No one's going to be, like, impressed by your Azusa deck, you know? Alright, Baru Fist of Krosa, a Grandeur commander. Yeah, this card sucks. Okay. Alright, Bounteous Kirin. Whenever you play a Spirit or Arcane spell, you may gain life. Wow, okay, no. This is 7 mana. It makes you play Spirit and Arcane cards, and the payoff is you just gain life. So it's overcosted, it has a very restrictive ability, and even if you trigger the ability, the payoff isn't even good. Nothing about this card is good. Kazoo, Ruthless Stalker, you have to pair up with, I think, the blue-black partner, Ukima Stalking Shadow, so why would you play this guy by himself? Like, if you play it with the other guy, then that's probably pretty good. So if this was like a Sultai list, I'd put him at like, I don't know, B or an A, but like, why would you play this by himself? That's dumb. That's actually one of my biggest pet peeves, is when people play just one partner as their commander. I don't know why it makes me so mad, but that's like the one thing in Commander that actually makes me mad. Alright, Dosen, the Falling Leaf. Players can play spells only during their own turns. That is very unique, but I don't think it's good. I guess you just play this in a deck if you hate counter spells and you want your commander to just stop counter spells. Is this good? This can't be good, but it's interesting. I'll put it at it has potential. We'll put it at a B. And we have Dwynnin. Other elves you control get +1/+1 when she attacks again life for elves. This is just a bad elf commander. I'm actually going to put this at F. Not because it's that bad, but because there are so many other elf commanders that are just better. So you will never play this as your elf commander, unless you're building an elf life gain deck in green, but that's... Does that give it a C? No, that's dumb. No, that's dumb. It's an F. Alright, Eladamri, Lord of Leaves. This guy gives your elves Forest Walk and Hexproof. That's actually pretty good. I know he's not the go-to elf commander, but he's actually a pretty good one. He just lets you hit people. Everyone has a forest. I'm gonna put him, he's still not the best elf commander, but he's good enough that you might actually play him. I'll put him in a B. Alright, we just got all the elves in a row, I guess. Azuri, he lets you regenerate your elves, and he makes your elves bigger. This is this guy the best elf commander anymore? I know he was a long time ago. I don't know if he still is, but he's at least close. So I'm gonna put him at, does he get S? No, he gets A. If you're gonna be S tier, you have to be really good, but you also have to be really unique and interesting. And elves are cool and they're fun, but they're not super interesting. Freyalise, Lanoir's Fury. What does this Planeswalker do? I think this is the only Planeswalker we have on the list. It draws cards and makes elves. And lets you... This is actually kind of good. This is alright. I'll stick it at a B. I'd play this. Finn the Fang Bear, straight up S tier. Let's go. This guy is hilarious. He lets you kill people with poison counters, but you're not even using Infect, so they can't even really be mad at you. This guy's amazing. I actually love this guy. Gargos, Vicious Watcher. Basically your go-to mono green Hydra tribal commander, I guess. He seems alright. I would play him. We'll stick him at a... but Hydras are bad. But are they that bad? You know what? Hydras are cool. Put them in an A. Galta Primal Hunger. I am actually going to stick this one on Ness, and I know people are going to think that's dumb, because he's like the definition of not interesting, but he's kind of just the most Timmy card of all time. Like, you cannot find a card that is more Timmy than Galta. It has Trample, it's giant, it's a 2-mana 12/12 with Trample. Like, that's just hilarious. And like, no one can really get mad at you if you beat them with Galta, because you're beating them with the fairest, I guess like the unfairest fair card ever made, but it's still fair. Your deck is probably just big things, and that's funny. Galandra, Caller of Wirewood. I actually really like this partner. I'm sticking this one at A. It draws you cards, kind of, and it makes mana, and it's a partner. Like, that's insane. Glissa Sunseeker. This one's also going S. Maybe I'm being too nice with the S's. I might have to move something down. But Glissa lets you play mono green control, where you turn your opponent's stuff into artifacts using, I don't know, whatever, liquid metal coating, the other liquid metal something something. That's just really funny. Super unique. I really like this card. God Eternal Ronas. This one kinda... This one's really boring, isn't it? It just doubles your creatures for 1 turn. This one's very boring. Is it C boring? It's too good to be a C. But like, no one's gonna play this. Yeah, nobody's gonna... You know what? I'm giving it a C. No one's gonna play this card. Goreclaw, Terror of Qualsisma. Definitely pronounced that right. Why would you play this card? You know, we have a better bear commander now, so I have no idea why anyone would play this as their commander. It's not the best stomp. It's okay in Stompy. I'll give it a C. It has its place, but not a big one. Gorham the Great, another partner that you can only pair with something that's not green, so it goes in F by default. Why are you playing a green partner by itself? Maybe I should take these partners out of the list. This is kind of dumb, but out of completionist sake, I wanted to put on every single creature that you could technically play as a mono green commander. Alright, Grothama All Devouring. This one's pretty cool. I like him. I don't think he's good enough to be S, because he's very janky, but he's pretty interesting. I'll stick him in an A. Grun the Lonely King. This card's garbage. This card is straight garbage. Why would you ever play this? Let's see. Ape Tribal? Mono Green Kicker? Neither of those are real decks. You're an F. Halana Kessick Ranger. What does this one do? You can basically fight stuff, but it's better than fight because you don't get hit back. That's interesting. Is it A interesting? It's not that good. Yeah, I'll stick it to B. It's pretty good. Hua Tuo, Honored Physician. Put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. What is this? Why would you play this? Is there like anything really cool you can do with this? I feel like there's not. Because you have to play mono green, and mono green doesn't have top deck stuff. But it's very unique. You know, I do like him. He's not an F. Is he a B? His ability's very bad. It's like regrowth, but worse. Okay, now that I think about it, that's pretty bad. But I do kind of like him. We'll stick him in a C. Iktekik. I kind of like this guy, but I also kind of hate him, because he's super unique, but also why is green getting artifact commanders? Why does green get everything? But the fact that he's one of the only artifact commanders and he's a partner is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. You know, I'm not gonna let my bias get in the way. He's going A. Iname Life Aspect. Return any number of target spirit cards from your graveyard to your hand. This is probably the best mono green. Actually, no, it's not. I think there are better mono green spirit commanders in here. Oh, but this one has a powerful... Is it powerful? You get a bunch of cards back, but all the cards you get back are probably garbage because they're all green spirits. I like it though, but it's very bad. You're a C. Isao Enlightened Bushi. I have never seen this card before in my life. Bushido 2, regenerate target samurai. Straight garbage. Iwamori of the Open Fist. I have actually seen someone play an Iwamori deck, and it was kind of funny. It wasn't good though, but he's interesting. He's got like a weird group hug thing going on. He is surprisingly big. Oh, but he's really bad. He's really bad, but he's a little bit funny. He's just good enough to be funny. We'll put him in a C. Jedit Ojanin of Efrava. What are these names? When he attacks or blocks, create a 2/2 green cat. He's 6 mana. Oh, that's so bad. The only... You might play him in mono green cat tribal, but why are you playing mono green cat tribal? You're not. You're not going to do it. Actually, yeah, this next commander is better at making cats. So this is mono green card draw tribal. She makes a cat whenever you draw your second card. That's pretty good. That's kind of cool. But drawing cards isn't super interesting. We'll stick you at an A. I'm going to be a little stricter on the S's here. Alright, Joel Rail number 2. I never realized that these two commanders were the same person. And this one's kind of cool. Is it? I don't know. I do like this commander, and I do think it's very interesting, and there's a lot of cool stuff you can do, because making all of someone's lands into 3/3s is cool. But it's kind of too feels-baddy to be an S. I don't want to put commanders super high if they aren't fun to play against. That's something important to think about, and I don't think this one's very fun to think about, because the best thing you can do with it is just destroy all of someone's lands, which isn't that nice. You know, that's like worse than Armageddon, because Armageddon at least you get everybody, but this one you just get one person, and that person basically just loses. That's not cool. But she is interesting, so she gets C. Jugon the Rising Star. This one, I'm pretty sure is straight garbage. In fact, quick little story, I was trying to download every single mono green commander because I had to make this, I had to make this tier list on Tier Maker. And so I was checking on EDH Rec, counting up all of the commanders, and my number was off, and I eventually found out it's because some commanders have literally 0 decks, so they don't show up on EDH Rec, and this was one of them. I'm pretty sure this card, when I checked, did not have a single deck on EDH Rec, so that means it has to be an F. I'm not even going to read it, like it has to be an F. I'm just kidding, I did read it, but it's not good. Alright, Kamal partner version. This guy's really cool. This one might be S tier. Oh, is that too high? He's an 8 mana overrun in the command zone, which is just... something about him's really cool. Just the fact that he costs 8, so he doesn't feel cheap, but he is really strong and makes your guys real big. If you've ever played against a Kamal deck, he is very scary. But he's not... is he cool enough to be S? Being a partner makes him cool. I'm gonna put him S. I really like this guy. Alright, now for bad Kamal. He makes lands into 1/1s. I'm gonna put this one at a B. It's kind of like the other land destruction one, but this one you can't blow up all of someone's lands. You could blow up a couple, like one at a time. So it's a little more fair. It's a little more interesting. Okay, so green creatures you control get +1/+1. This is garbage. Alright, now we have all 4 Kodamas in a row, starting with Kodama of the East Tree. This one's really good. The only question is it too good to be an S? Like, if a commander's too good, that almost makes you not want to play it as much, you know? Is this one too good? I think it's a little too good, honestly. I'm gonna put it in an A. Its ability is really cool and fun, but it's not super interesting, and it's a little too strong. Kodama of the North Tree. This one has Hexproof and Trample, and that's it. I mean, that has to go in the same tier as Autumn. What's her name? Autumn Willow. She's basically the same card. Kodama of the South Tree. Whenever you play a Spirit or Arcane spell, each other creature you control gets +1/+1 against Trample until end of turn. Why are there so many mono green Spirit commanders? This one's bad. There are some good mono green Spirit commanders coming up, and so you're never going to play this one because there are other ones that are actually good. Like this next one. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of spirits you control, and it has Soul Shift X, where X is the number of spirits you control. I'm pretty sure Soul Shift just means if it dies, you get to put a different spirit from your graveyard back in your hand. Is that good? There are some other spirits that are better, but this one is good enough to consider. I'll put it in the same tier as Aname, because they're both spirit commanders that you might play if you wanted to play a mono green spirit deck, but not the best commander for some reason. Alright, Kogla. What does Kogla even do? He removes stuff, he fights stuff. He encourages you to play humans. That's a little bit interesting. I'll stick him at a B. He's not that interesting, but the human part is kind of cool. I don't know. He's got some stuff going. Alright, our MDFC commander. This one has a lot of text on it, and I have no idea what it does. So let me read it real quick. She gets +4/+2 if you have a lot of legendaries. Okay, so she's basically legendary tribal, backside, makes mana, but only of a specific creature type or for legendary creatures. That's just confusing. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the making mana for a specific creature type because you're not going to do that. Like, why are you playing her as a tribal commander? Like if you're playing a spirit deck, just play a spirit commander. Although I guess it could help you play like the 1 or 2 creatures in your deck that aren't legendaries. I'm assuming if you're playing her, you're playing legendary tribal. That's kind of cool, but I'm pretty sure there's a different mono green commander on this list that is just a better legendary tribal commander. I think. If memory serves me right, there is. So this one's going B, because the other one's probably going A, and this one's worse. But it's not that much worse. Alright, next up, Curbus. I have never seen this commander before. Here's the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equals the amount of mana spent to cast it. That's kind of cool. Remove a +1/+1 counter from him. Prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn to another target creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. What the heck is this card? Is this card a new card? This one's really funny. But it's not good enough to be asked, but that is super unique. And I think it's good enough that you could actually make a good deck with it. Yeah, I'm giving him A. That's actually really interesting. Next one just has horsemanship. Nope. Is there any justification? No, there's not. Horseman, no. No. Marwin the Nurturer. Whenever another elf enters the battlefield under your control, put a counter on her. You can tap her for mana equal to her power. She is a really good elf commander. That is really good, and I do like that you don't have to go elves. You could just buff her and then make mana that way. You know what? I'm going to put her here. I might move Azuri down a peg. She's probably better, right? Oh, but Azuri's really good. You know what? We'll try to put him in the right letter place. He would go like here. Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm moving Azuri down. Alright, Masmaro, first to live. His power and toughness are each equal to twice the number of cards in your hand. Nah, it could get big. I'll put it at a C. It could get big. That's kind of funny. Malira, Sylvok Outcast. You can't get poison counters. You can't get -1/-1 counters. And no one else can have infect. Is there anything cool you can do with this card? I have no idea if there's any. I don't think there's a single cool thing you can do with this card. I guess you could do stuff that puts -1/-1 counters on everything, but I don't think there's a green card that does that. I'm gonna put this in F, just because I can't think of anything cool to do with it. I apologize if there is something and I just don't know what it is, but I don't think there's anything cool you can do with this card as your commander in mono green. Actually, wait, you can play a persist deck. I'm dumb. Are there any mono green creatures with persist? There has to be at least one, right? There can't be that many, though. That moves it up to a C, because you can maybe combo with it, but it's not like a cool combo. Alright, Menghuo, Barbarian King. Other green creatures you control get +1/+1. This is exactly the same as the other one. It's just the Lord, and therefore it goes in the same tier of garbage. Miri Cat Warrior. First strike, Forest Walk, and Vigilance. Is having 3 keywords good enough? No. Molimo, Maro Sorcerer. His power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. I'm pretty sure we have a commander coming up that is basically just this but better, so you're never going to play this one. It's exactly the same as the other one, but just worse, so you are never going to play it. Mowu, Loyal Companion. Trample, Vigilance. If one or more +1/+1 counters will be put on him, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. That's That's a little bit interesting, but there are better +1/+1 counter commanders. I'll put you at a C because you do something that's kind of good. You're not straight garbage, but you're not interesting either. Multani Yavumaya's Avatar. Yeah, this is the one that gets +1/+1 for each land you control and each land in your graveyard, and it has another ability. This is way better. It's not quite S, but it's maybe A. This is a good commander. I like him. And now we have bad Multani. Power and toughness are each equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. Can't be the target of spells or abilities. That's actually not the worst, because you can make everyone draw cards and make it really big. That's pretty funny. Can green make everyone draw cards? There's like Temple Bell and Howling Mine and stuff. I'll put that at a B. That one, it has something going. Myosian of Life's Web. I'm tempted to put this one F because it doesn't work if you play it from the command zone. That has to be F. It's a 9-mana commander, or if you want it to do anything, you have to find a way to play it not from the command zone, which probably means you played it, and then you found a way to put it back in your hand, and then you played it again, so you spent at least 18 mana, unless you used Command Beacon. Like, if it's black, it's a different story, because black actually has a couple cards that puts your commander into your hand from the command zone, but if it's green, I think it's literally just Command Beacon. That is too bad. I guess you could, like, tutor for the land? Okay, I'll move it up to C, just because green has a lot of ways to tutor out a Command Beacon. And if you play it from your hand, its power is very strong. I think it just lets you, what does it even do? Lets you play as many creatures as you want for free. Okay. You know what, just because you have land tutors, I'll put it at C. You can maybe do it. Namada Grove Guardian, Saproling Tribal. But 6 mana Saproling Tribal. I'm pretty sure there's a green-black commander that is a much better Saproling commander. So, I'm going to put this one at an it's really bad. Actually, paying 3 to make a 1/1 repeatedly isn't that bad. It's not good. I'll put it at a C. There's something you can do with it. Alright, Nissa Vastwood Seer. When you play her, you draw a forest, flip her over into a Planeswalker. What does a Planeswalker do? You can draw a card, maybe play a land. You can make a 4/4, or you can untap. This is not a good commander. I'm tempted to put this at a B, just because if you're playing Nissa Tribal, this is a Nissa that can be your commander, but it's still very bad, and Nissa Tribal isn't nearly as good as Chandra Tribal. And honestly, even if you were playing Nissa Tribal, there's probably a better commander coming up. I'm not going to spoil it. It's probably a better commander for a mono green Super Friends deck, so I'm going to put her at a C. I don't think, even if you're playing Nissa Tribal, I wouldn't play this as my commander, and that's pretty bad. Numa Draga Chieftain. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay double X when you do put that many counters on any number of target elves, and it's a partner. The fact that it's a partner helps a bit, but I am kind of supposed to only think about partnering it with mono green partners, because this is a mono green list. Are there any mono green partners I would want to partner with this with? Probably not. I don't think there's another one that does anything with elves. So in the context of you only get to partner it with a mono green partner, I'm going to put it at a C. It's really good if you partner it up with the black elf partner. I don't remember its name, which is pretty embarrassing because I have a commander deck for that partner. But if you have to pair it up with a mono green partner, I think this goes C, because why are you playing elves? Why are you playing mono green elves with this as your commander when you could play any of the other elf commanders? Alright, Nylia Keen-Eyed. Makes your creatures cost 1 less. And you can draw a card if it's a creature. That is very boring. This is very boring. This is almost F tier boring. I did see that deck tech that someone made. I think it was on Commander's Quarters, where you play this and you just play like 99 1-mana creatures in your deck or something and you draw them all. I'll put it at a C just because you can do that one meme with it, which I don't even think is that good because that deck would probably be kind of boring after you did it once, but it would be really cool. The fact that it lets you pull off a meme one time that's super funny, I guess gives it a C. That's pretty good. Alright, other Nylia. This card is extremely boring. This one's actually going F. It's very boring. Old Gnawbone. I like this guy. He makes a lot of treasures. I guess he could also kind of be a mono-green artifact commander, because he does make a lot of artifacts. I'll put him at B. He's pretty cool. OG Omnath. I like this guy. He just lets you stock up like 50 mana. And he gets really big. Wait, this guy's awesome. I'm putting him A. I would actually want to build this deck. Ovaya Pashiri Sage Lifecrafter. So this seems like another commander you would only play if you're going mono-green artifacts, but there are better options. And honestly, she seems really bad. I guess the only other reason to play her is she is a 1-mana commander. I think she's the only 1-mana commander on this list. I don't know why that would be important, but if it was, then that's kind of cool. I'll put her at a C, just because she's the only 1-mana commander. So if you wanted to build like a... what's that dog? There's that one white mana 2/2 dog that people used to build as a Voltron deck until Saram came out. If you wanted to do that in green, this is your best option, because I think she's the only 1-mana commander, so I'll put her at C. Patron of the Orochi, Snake Offering. Okay. Untap all forest and all green creatures, play this ability only once each turn. That doesn't even say all your forest, that's just everybody's forest and everybody's green creatures. This guy's kind of cool. And Snake Offering's like maybe a thing, right? You could put some snakes in your deck. I would play this deck. I'll put him at a B, he's alright. Alright, Purr. I don't want to sound redundant, but why are you playing Purr by himself? But at the same time, Purr by himself is still a tiny bit interesting. So I guess I'll put him at C. But, like, don't play Purr by himself. Pair him up with Toothy. Pelucranos World Eater. Monstrosity X, he gets really big, he deals damage to things, none of those are interesting, he's not even a good Hydra commander. Literally none of that is interesting. I'm probably going to put him in F. He is very boring. The Prismatic Piper, technically a mono-green commander if you want him to be. So I put him on the list. Don't play him. Questing Beast. Questing Beast is kind of interesting because he does do 6 things, which means theoretically there should be a lot of synergies because he has 6 things to synergize with. But I can't really think of that many. Like, all of his abilities don't really synergize with your stuff, they kind of just punish your opponents. Like, making your opponents not able to block it, that's not something you have control over. And like, punishing their planeswalkers is also not something you have control over. And it stops them from preventing your damage, which is also something that you don't have control over. So, I guess you could, I mean, it's... if you play a fog on your turn, your creatures still do damage, right? Okay, I guess that's one thing. You could play him in just a good green creatures deck, because he's just the poster child of good green creatures. But no, that's pretty jank. He's a C. Reki, the History of Kamigawa. This is the legendary tribal commander. Whenever you play a legendary spell, you draw a card. I might be biased, because I had a friend who played this deck, and it was super funny, but it was really fun to play against, and it was very... It was like really interesting from like an educational standpoint almost, just getting to see like the history of legendary creatures was kind of just really cool. So I'm going to put him in S. This deck is really fun to play against, just because you get to see so many random jank legendaries. You basically get to see every single card on this list if you play against him, and that's just kind of fun. Renata, Called to the Hunt. She makes your creatures come in with a +1/+1 counter. Don't really care about that. Her power is equal to your devotion to green. She is probably the only green devotion commander, unless you count the gods, but I don't really count the gods because usually you don't want to turn your gods into creatures. Okay. Being the only devotion commander is kind of good. And I'll put you at a B, because mono green devotion is kind of funny. But then again, there's only like one mono green devotion card, right? Other than this one? There's only like 1 or 2. Yeah, that's a C. Ronus the Indomitable. Can't attack or block unless you control another creature with power 4 or greater. Death Touch Indestructible. Death Touch and Indestructible is kind of a thing. This could be a good lure commander. You know, where you play like the green cards to say your opponent has to block with everything. That's actually kind of cool. That is pretty good. And it's all combined in one card. Like Death Touch and Indestructible on one card with lure effects. You know, the more I'm talking about it, the more I want to build that deck. He's going at an A. Rishkar makes your creatures into elves, basically. And he lets you put counters on stuff. It's kind of cool, but it's not that cool. It's not that interesting. Good enough to build a deck. We'll put him in a C. Alright, we're going to have to do some scrolling now, because this is a big list. Ruxa, Vanilla Creature Tribal. I love this commander so much. I want to build this deck. He's going in S. You know, that's my bias showing, but it's my list, so I can do whatever I want. Sachi, Daughter of Sashiro, a Snake and Shaman Tribal Commander. Both of those tribes are very bad. How many green shamans are there? I don't know. I don't think there's that many, but there might be some good ones. Shaman is one of those creature types that you don't really notice a creature has it. So I'm going to put it at B under the assumption that there's at least some good green shamans, and making them tap for mana is actually kind of cool. Let's see, Sakiko, Mother of Summer. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, add that much green to your mana pool. What? This mana doesn't cause mana burn. Okay, until end of turn, this mana doesn't empty from your mana pool. That's phase's end. That seems really good. I guess that's basically Old Gnawbone, but worse though, isn't it? Yeah, because Old Gnawbone just gives you treasures, and it flies. It does cost 1 more mana though. But since it's Old Gnawbone, but just probably worse, it's gotta go 1 tier lower. Sarath the Viper's Fang. I have never seen this creature before. Is this a new one? Yeah, this is a new one. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. Other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. Pay 1. Untap another. This is actually really interesting. You can attack with something. Yeah, because you can attack with stuff and your opponent basically can't block because you can just give any of your creatures Death Touch at instant speed. Or you can just untap a cool land if you got a Gaia's Cradle or something. Not that anyone has that card anymore because it's like $1,000, but, you know, if you have one. Yeah, this one does, you know, it does multiple things and they're all kind of interesting. I'm going to put this one A, I think. Socia, Orochi, Ascendant. This one is pretty funny. It basically does nothing until you have 7 lands in your hand, and then it makes all of your forests tap for like 10 mana. I do like this commander, and I do have a deck with this as the commander, but it does have one issue, which is that you kind of run into the problem where you're either doing absolutely nothing or you win. You know, there's like no in between. Like either you're doing literally nothing, just trying to get lands in your hand, or you have 400 mana and you're winning the game. And that is a little bit boring, but it is interesting enough to have. This commander is probably a B, I think. Like, I wouldn't recommend anyone build this commander as their first commander deck, but if you have like 5 commander decks and this was one of them, then you wouldn't have to play it that much, so it'd still feel fun when you played it. So I think that's about a B. Seki Season's Guide. I think this is the best spirit one, right? He comes into play with 8 counters on him. If you deal damage to him, you prevent that damage and you remove that many counters from him instead, and then you make that many tokens. And you sacrifice 8 spirits to return him. This has to be the best spirit commander. I know he doesn't really do anything with spirits specifically, other than he lets you sacrifice him. But he is a spirit and he makes a lot of spirits. So I think he's the best spirit commander, and he's really interesting. Like, you could play him in a fight deck. You could fight something really big, make a bunch of tokens. This guy's actually really cool. I'll put him in an A. Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. I've never even seen anyone play this card in real life, but I do know it's really good in EDH. It makes mana, and it kind of draws you cards. But it also draws other people cards if they play really big things, but it probably won't, because you're probably going to play really big things. It is cool. I'll put it just at an A because it's not interesting. It just draws cards and makes mana. It does make you play big things, but, you know, whatever. Sashiro the Anointed. Other snakes you control get +2/+2. Whenever a snake you control deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Mono green snake tribal. Mono green is probably the best color for snake tribal. I think. I don't even think there are any snakes that aren't green. Are there? There probably is. And someone's going to be like, oh, you totally forgot about Slithery the Slithero. But most of them are green. And he is pretty good. He does buff them and draw you cards. But snakes are really bad. I'll put him in a B. He seems like he belongs in the same tier as the shaman guy, because they're both just pretty good lords for very bad tribes. Let's see, tap an untapped druid you control, add green to your mana pool. That's actually cool. I really like that. That's really strong, and it's for a creature type that you don't see tribal decks for. I'll put that one at an A. I like that guy. I'm tempted to build that deck, actually. Shisato Whispering Hunter. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a snake. And she is a snake. That's already super bad. Whenever she deals combat damage to a player, that player skips his or her next untap step. Oh my. Oh my, what is this card? What is this card? Does this card go F? We haven't had an F in a while. I'm gonna put this card at F because it's really bad and also unfun. It has somehow... like, you're either gonna do nothing, in which case you're not having fun, or you're gonna do something, and if you do something, then your opponent's not having fun. So it is impossible to play this card and have both players have fun. That is really bad. Shizuko Collar of Autumn. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player adds triple green to their mana pool. This mana doesn't cause mana burn. Until end of turn, this mana doesn't empty from that player's mana pool as phases end. Just mono green group hug. That's not very interesting, but it's a little unique. I'll put it at a C. I could see someone building that deck. Sylvos Rogue Elemental, Trample and Regenerate, and a 6 mana 8/5. He is kind of big. But why would you play him? Why would you play him? You wouldn't play him. Would you? No. F seems a little harsh. He does have a lot of attack, and he's basically indestructible and has Trample. But like, you're not gonna play him. You would only play him as a Voltron commander, and there have to be better options, right? Yeah, like we have a 2 mana 12/12 in here somewhere. That guy's gotta be a better Voltron commander. Slurk All Ingesting. Enters the battlefield with 5 counters. Whenever Slurk or another counter you control dies, if it had a counter on it, put a +1/+1 counter on each other... No, on each creature you control that has a +1/+1 counter on it. And partner. Okay. So this is like green aristocrats with counters. That does hit a lot of things. That does let you do a lot of cool combos. Is it too good? It costs 6. What partner would you pair this with? I guess like basically any of them, right? He's pretty cool. I'll put him as an A. Sosuke Bosuke.
Sosuke Bosuke, you pervert! Ow! What the?
Son of Sashiro. Other snakes you control. There's so many snake commanders. Other snakes you control get +1/+0. Whenever a warrior you control deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature at end of combat. Why? Is that too harsh? No. Sirach the Hunt Caller. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if creatures you control have total power 8 or greater, target creature you control gains haste until end of turn. That is the most boring command I've ever seen. Sir Farron the Henge Hammer. Whenever Sir Farron the Henge Hammer attacks, another target attacking creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is Sir Farron's power. That is also the most boring command I've ever seen. The Terraskew. Taraske. Tararok. Toritos. The Tarask has haste and ward 10. And ward 10? Why does that not say hexproof? The Tarask has haste and ward 10 as long as it was cast. Okay. Whenever the Tarask attacks, it fights target creature defending player controls. 9 mana 10/10. Hexproof. Haste. When it attacks, it fights. That's a pretty good Voltron commander, but it costs... I mean, why are you playing a 9 mana 10/10 when you could play a 2 mana 12/12? You know? But it also fights. We'll put it at a B. It can do some stuff. Thrasta Tempest's Roar. 12 mana 7/7. The spell costs 3 less to cast for each other spell cast this turn. Trample, haste, trample over planeswalkers. Did not know that trample over planeswalkers was an ability that existed. He has hexproof as long as it entered the battlefield this turn. This creature does a lot of things. Okay, so my first instinct is this guy is just a worse mono green storm commander because we got, what's his name, Ave up here. But he's also got some Voltron potential. He also lets you do food chain shenanigans. If you got a food chain, he makes you 13 mana. That's pretty good. He's also a dinosaur. I don't know if that matters. I don't like him as much as a storm commander, and I think that's his main thing, so I'm not going to put him at A, but I'll put him at B. He's got some cool things you can do. Thriss Nantuko Primus. Pay 1 green and tap it. Target creature gets +5/+5 until end of turn. This is like an infect commander, right? What mono green creature gets super good if you give it +5/+5? Like, it's basically just infect, right? I mean, I'm sure that all of my viewers who just love their Thriss decks are screaming answers at their screens right now, but I can't think of any. But I'm gonna assume there are some. I'm gonna put him at a B because he's unique, and I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and assume there's cool stuff you can do. Thrun the Last Troll. This might be the best green Voltron commander, isn't he? He can't be countered. He has hexproof, basically. And he can regenerate. How do you kill this guy? Actually, how do you kill this guy? I guess you Toxic Deluge, you white card that makes you vote. Will of the Council? Is that the card? I have no idea. But other than that, I don't know how you kill this guy. I'm going to assume he's the best green Voltron commander, and I think the best green Voltron commander gets an A. Titania Protector of Argoth, this is probably S. I haven't done an S in a long time. But she does land stuff. She does land death stuff. Oops, let's put it down here. Which I don't think any of these other commanders do. And that's just really interesting. You get to play Zurin Orb. You know, I love Zurin Orb. Toski. Not the best green squirrel commander. I guess the other one is green-black. But he can't be countered. He has to attack. He draws you cards. He does draw a lot of cards. Toski's a very good card. He's not that interesting as a commander, but he's very good, and drawing cards is going to make the deck feel funner because you're always going to have stuff. So I'll put him in a B. Varus Silvery Moon Ranger. Not Silver Moon Ranger, Silvery Moon. Or Silvery Moon. What is this card? Whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, venture into the dungeon. This ability triggers only once each turn. Whenever you complete a dungeon, make a 2/2. That is not good. That is not good. It's kind of interesting. It's not good. Verdaloth the Ancient. I have seen this card like a million times. I did not know it was legendary until right now. 6 mana, Kicker X. Sapling creatures and other tree folk creatures get +1/+1. Okay. Wait, this is a better Sapling commander than that other guy. Where did I put that other guy at? I put him here. This guy's probably better because he makes Saplings, so I'll put him one higher. Well, he's also tree folk. Actually, you know, he's about the same as the other Sapling guy. We'll put him in the same spot. Alright, Meanie Bobini Vorinclex. I'm tempted to put him at F just because I know how much everyone hates playing against him. If you play a Vorinclex deck, no one's gonna like you. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you do play a Vorinclex deck, but I'm sure if you have one, then you know that everyone hates it when you play him. I don't know why everyone specifically hates this one so much, because like I think Jin Kataxius is way worse, but for some reason, Vorinclex specifically, everybody hates so much, so don't play this guy. Other Vorinclex, on the other hand, is pretty heckin' awesome. And I might even put him in S, just because he's the best mono-green super. Does he work with Planeswalkers? Actually, let me check. If you would put one or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice a minute, those kinds of... Okay, so I'm like 99% sure he works with Planeswalkers when you play them, and also when you use their abilities, which is like even better than Doubling Season. And the fact that you randomly hose other people's counters is also really funny. He does so many things. He's gotta be an S. He's really good, but he's also fun, and he has a lot of different options you can do, a lot of different cool things. Eudora Grave Gardener. This guy I think I'm also putting as... this is the face down guy, right? Yeah, okay. This guy I think also goes S, because he's very interesting. And the fact that you make face down... your forests turn into face down forests? That's just the most confusing but also cool thing I've ever heard. Like, there's a lot. You can do morph stuff, you can do flicker stuff, you can just keep them as forests if you really wanted to get more forest. He just does a lot of cool things. This is a really cool commander. Yeva Nature's Herald just gives your green creatures flash. If you're playing a mono green deck, that's basically going to be all your creatures, unless you're playing colorless creatures. That seems pretty good, and there is some cool stuff you can do with flash. I'm going to put her at a B. Nah, it's not that good. It's interesting, and I really like it, but it's not that good, so we're going to B. Yisan the Wanderer Bard. This guy is super good, but he's one of those commanders that you're kind of going to do the same thing every time. He's basically a birthing pod, and when you play a birthing pod, you usually know exactly what you're going to get. But you could build a super toolboxy deck that wasn't just trying to combo off. That could be fun. That could be fun. Okay, we'll put him in a B. Yorvo enters the battlefield with 4+1/+1 counters. Whenever another green creature comes in, he gets another counter. If that creature is bigger, he gets a bonus counter. So he just gets big. He just gets counters and he just gets big. Let's see, where did I put the dog? This guy's basically the dog, but better, right? Actually, maybe not. I'm pretty sure the dog just gets a bonus counter. But this guy just gets countered super easily, so I'm going to put him at B because he seems like Mowu, but a little bit better. A little more interesting. Zuochi the Mocking Sage. What is this guy? This art is fantastic. I don't even know what's happening. He's got like a... What is he doing? He's like holding a book that's bleeding, and he has a paintbrush. And for some reason, the dragon in the background has like the goofiest googly eyes I've ever seen. That by itself almost makes me want to put this as an A. But let's read what it does. He can't be blocked by creatures with horsemanship. Whenever your opponent chooses a creature in play, he or she can't choose. Okay, so he has hexproof, and he can't be blocked by creatures with horsemanship. That is never going to be relevant. So he's a 3-mana 1/2 with hexproof. That is garbage. And there you have it, folks. We have ranked every single mono green commander from S all the way down to F. And I think that's a pretty good split. You know, we got a lot of Fs, a lot of Cs, a lot of Bs, fewer As, and fewer S's. Let me take another look at these S's. Are these all worth it? Yeah, all these S's are really cool. I like all of them. But you know what? You know what? I'm moving Omnath up to an S. I like him. I just really like him. And that is the final tier list. So once again, if you disagree with any of my hot takes here, if you think that my S tier commanders suck and the ones I put in F are amazing, then feel free to leave a comment. Maybe you have a Kodama of the... Is this the center tree? I don't even know. Maybe you have an Autumn Willow deck that just absolutely destroys all of your opponents whenever you play it. So if that's you, just let me know.